Hey guys, after the last video that I did about our top 2020 bait, which ended up being the Beetle Spin and the Roadrunner with the Berkeley Alive minnow, a lot of questions came in asking what is the top tackle that people would recommend if you're just getting started in bass fishing. So I thought I'd do a quick video, and this is going to really vary, lots of different opinions. Hopefully they'll get some good discussion going, some comments going, so feel free to comment in the video itself. But if you had 50 bucks, let's say, or $50 is a pretty good amount of money to get started, or you got a gift card maybe left over from Christmas to Bass Pro or Dick's Sporting Goods, what can you get for 50 bucks roughly? Now, that's setting gear aside. That's not including rods. So if you have a spinning rod or bait casting rod, whatever you might have, something that you got perhaps at a yard sale you already have in the garage, what kind of actual tackle do you need to get started? What are your top baits for bass fishing itself? So I thought I'd just do something real quick. And again, feel free to comment if you have some other suggestions. But one, of course, that we can't forget about, probably the top go-to bait, is a Senko, or in this case, Berkeley Stickos. By far one of my favorite baits to fish, especially in the summer when it's getting difficult. It really just looks like a dead stick bait. Flexible. Green pumpkin is a great color that we use all the time. You can rig it a bunch of different ways. You can rig it wacky style from the middle. You can rig it Texas rig. You can do lots of different things with it, but really easy to find. Lots of different places, Walmart, Dick's, Bass Pro, etc. And you can get a pack of probably, these are 4.5 inch 16 in this pack, probably for around $5. Now with that, you're going to need some terminal tackle that goes with that. So here's an example of how I like to fish a Senko. And you can see on here there are a couple of components, right? So the first is you need this weight here, a bullet weight. There's all kinds of different kinds you can get. You can get tungsten, you can get lead. That's up to you and what sizes you want to get. But basically it's just a bullet weight that you put right on your line. It's hollow on the bottom that comes down and slides right above your knot, or some guys put a bead in there of your actual hook. So you need to get some of these bullet weights that allow you to move. You can peg them if you're going to kind of fish it like a Carolina rig, or heavier weights to get down through the grass itself. The other thing, and I'll pop this sticko off of here, is actually a wide gap worm hook. I like 1/0. This is a little smaller than some guys prefer. It's pretty universal size, however, for different sizes that you're looking for. 4.5 inch, I think, is a pretty good size, as mentioned. And again, the easiest way is to just put your bullet weight on your line once you get your line cut, ready to put on your hook. So slide your bullet weight up so that, again, the concave side is on the bottom. You got a worm hook. Start it through the top like this, come out the side. And again, the goal here, of course, is to have this thing hang flat. So once you get it up over the shaft of the hook, kind of take a look and see how it's hanging. You can see that the hook is going to be coming through about right here. So I kind of pinch it and just load that through the bait. So it just comes through and breaks the surface on the other side. And then it stays pretty weedless. So again, need a pack of the actual bullet weight, and a pack of the hooks, and a pack of actually the stickos. And with those 3 pieces of tackle, you're ready to go do some bass fishing. Very popular in the summer when there's a lot of pressure. So that's a really, really good bait that we use quite a bit. Another bait that was really hot a couple weeks ago, check out the video, we were at Lake Anna. They were really firing up on the Roadrunners and the Beetle Spin. So we thought we'd try something different, a good old spinnerbait. Chartreuse, white, black, 3 popular really colors. They work universally. You can see this one has kind of a silver fleck and a black skirt. We put one of these Mr. Twister whitetails on the back here, okay, for an actual trailer, but they don't come with a trailer. You can put different things on there, pork chunks or other Mr. Twisters, different colors. You can mix it up, okay, but you don't have to have that. It's recommended. You can put a little piece of a Senko on there. I've seen that done before. Again, these vary, double or single blades, willow leaf blades, hammered blades, gold blades, silver blades, whatever. But again, just to get you a spinnerbait is never a bad thing. It works really well to get the fish fired up. It's a fun bait to fish. Very easy. Throw it out, reel it in. The fish tend to like it. And it catches varying sizes of different fish too. Again, it's a good bait. Some guys like them in the fall. Sometimes when the fish are really fired up in the summer, it's great. You can fish it really slow, rolling it on the bottom, or burn it across the top just so those blades are churning the top of the water. Another really good bait. Similar to that, it's topwater action. This looks very much the same. This is in fact a buzzbait. Looks very much like a spinnerbait. Okay, same skirt, same hook. Again, you can put a trailer on it. This one does not have a trailer on it this time. And this is the buzz that spins around. Again, as soon as it hits the water, you're reeling it, it flips over like this. It's churning and chugging on top of the water, and you're reeling it just so it's spinning. Great action bait. The fish, when they're on, so much fun to fish with. See all the action as the fish comes up and their mouths come out of the water and they actually bite. Great, great bait. Another good topwater bait. One of my favorite go-tos. I also love to fish topwater, as most guys I'm sure do. When the fishing's on, you can never beat a pop bar. Again, this is just a hollow body bait with the front kind of concaved out. There's varying colors. This is kind of like a greenish, probably a baby bass color or something like that. It's got a little bit of a rattle in it, you can hear. Again, you just throw this out and twitch it back on the way to the boat so it's kind of chugging the water as it's coming in. Hula poppers are really popular. Pop bars are really good. So another really popular topwater bait, fun in the summer when you're seeing fish on top, especially if smallmouths are schooling. Okay, when you're starting to talk about fishing a little bit deeper, you're going to need some baits for that. Square bill crankbaits are by far pretty popular for that. You get them in different sizes with different size bills, which means they vary in depth. This is a pretty good size. This one probably runs 3 to 5 foot. I don't know what color this is off the top of my head, but again, it kind of looks like a bluegill. It's got some blue on the top, some yellow, and kind of a creamish white bottom to it. Again, they have a rattle. That's probably pretty important when you're most places that you're fishing, but it helps you fish water quickly. Throw it out going down the bank, throw it out over some open water, and just kind of working it towards the boat. And if you have some schooling fish or you're just trying to locate fish, you can follow up with, like, go back to the Senko. If you get a bite or two, have another rod with your Stickos or your Senkos ready to go. Fire back on that. But another staple bait that you want to have in your tackle box. Okay, so now let's say we're kind of been fishing in the top to the bottom of the water column. Another great bait that you probably should have is just a good old jig. Now this is a small one. I think this might be the Bitsy Flit. Actually, it's a little larger than that, but as you can see, big head. This one in particular has a weed guard. Again, a skirt that has some red, some green pumpkin, and some watermelon color to it. And this one actually has a red hook, which is kind of unique. This is a smaller one. You can get larger ones. If you're going to be flipping it into like mats or heavy brush and cover, you can get a larger profile bait. But you want to have a couple of jigs ready as well. Again, they're $3 to $5 to get 1 or 2 of them. Again, I'm just trying to spend $50 to load a tackle box with some tackle to get you out there to do some bass fishing. Again, a jig is a great, great bait to have in your boat. Color-wise, again, black, blues, and blacks, and purples are popular colors. Green pumpkin is one of my favorites. Really works well in some clear water and some stained water. Then the other thing that is another great bait that I love to fish, one of my favorites, and I have one of these rigged up a little different than normal, but it's just a good old tube bait. Now you can see on here, as we talked about earlier, this is rigged with a bullet weight, tied to a 1/0 wide gap worm hook. Now this is a little more difficult way to fish a tube bait, but I really like it. It allows me to kind of interchange quickly. Again, we're back to the 1/0 wide gap hook and a bullet weight. And this is what a tube looks like for those if you're brand new to bass fishing. Most guys probably know what these are. This is kind of a silver with a purple and black fleck. We caught some fish in some of our pond videos, which you can see on the channel on this particular tube bait. Again, you can rig it this way, just like you would a worm. Stick it through the top, come out the side, and hide it in the side of the bait itself. And it's pretty wormless. It's pretty small profile. Or let's jump over to one of the popular baits we were fishing earlier when we talked about the best baits of 2020 for us so far. And this is it again, guys. We talked about this. This is, in fact, the beetle spin. And on the beetle spin is this lead head for a tube bait. I'm just going to pop this off so you can see it. You can find the description down below for the actual beetle spin video, but this is something you probably would want to have to rig your tube baits. And you would take your tube bait and actually take it right over top. If you stick this whole lead head right down inside the tube bait like this, and pop just a little piece here where you tie your bait on, out through the side of the tube bait, and you're tying to that. That keeps everything but the hook just kind of poking out the side, and it's completely encompassed inside the tube itself, which makes it completely weedless as it's going through the brush and the grass mats and whatever else. So, a pack of tubes. Again, we have those here. Zoom makes great packs. There's lots of different brands. Again, I'm a big green pumpkin fan. Here's one here. You can see, salted up, got a little bit of scent on them. Not a huge bait. Again, you buy a pack of those. You buy a pack of jig heads. These come probably, depending on what brand you get, 8, 10, a dozen or so in a pack, and you have several that you can go out and fish with. Tube baits, and you're good to go. Those are what I would call my top 10 baits to have in your tackle box to be able to go out and do some bass fishing right away. Another bait that I love, if you got an extra $5 or what have you, is a chatterbait or a vibrating jig. A lot of manufacturers are making these now. It looks like a jig, only it has this blade on the top. And as this thing comes through the water, it really gets the fish fired up. Again, many different colors, many different sizes. This is an original, chatterbait in green pumpkin color. And again, it has a great big hook to put some type of a trailer on. At any rate, all these baits are for $50. I think you could go and get some of each of these things and load a tackle box, and you'd be ready to be out on the water and go fishing for bass. Be it from a bank, be it from a kayak, from a dock, or a boat. And it goes for, largemouth, smallmouth, etc. You can also catch other species with these. I've had catfish hit tube baits and Senkos for sure. I've had other white bass hit some of the more action baits. They've hit vibrating jigs. Snakeheads around here love a vibrating jig, so much so that you almost have to do some heavier line so that they don't cut it with the teeth that they have in their mouth. But at any rate, those are some really good baits. Again, if you had a $50 gift card or you had $50 to try to go out and get some baits to try bass fishing, that's what I'd highly recommend. If you have any questions, make sure you put some comments down below and let me know what your thoughts are, what your top baits would be if you were given $50 to load a tackle box.